So, now, can everyone see? Good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned before, Ephesus, in comparison to the other sites around the world, doesn't matter if it's Italy, Greece, Spain, whatever you are, okay, it's a completely different story than any other site in the world. First of all, this is not a monument that you're visiting, like let's say the Parthenon in Athens or let's say in Rome, whatever. This is an entire town that we're dealing with endless history, starting in the time period of the Hittites and then going all the way to the 1500s. So in other words, late Byzantine. Therefore, many civilizations, many different layers, many civilizations that have come and gone. Okay, so what we're going to be dealing today is, as you can see now, this is the whole of Ephesus. You can see the city wall starting at number 32 right here and going all the way around to that stadium, and 33 right here, in fact 33 is following the entire city. Okay, the city walls you have just seen right there passing by with the bus. So imagine these were the city walls that you have seen going to the house of Mary. Okay, now so far Ephesus, found by an Englishman called John Turtle Wood, ladies and gentlemen, from 1860s, around 1860s until present, where the excavations are being continuing with Archaeological Institute in Ankara, Turkey, as well as in a teamwork with the Austrian Archaeological Institute, Miss Dr. Sabine Ladstetter, from past until present. In other words, from 1800s to present, what you're able to see is only 1/16 of Ephesus. Okay, only 1/16. So what you're seeing here, in fact, what I'm trying to say is, these hills here, or maybe that walkway across, still needs to be excavated, which I will point it out as we walk by. Okay, so therefore, today we will be doing our tour, starting with number 6, which is right here, the Agora. Okay, with number 6, and then go across number 6. There is a Bruterium or Odeum, which is not a theater. Okay, so we'll be walking down number 11, number 13, number 12, number 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and we will end the tour at number 21. Okay, so in other words, at the big theater. That's why I said we were doing one-way walk, thanks God, without coming back. Okay, so therefore, no panic in case you may want to take pictures and have the feeling you got lost. There is no way of you getting lost. Okay, you can try your best. Okay, so it's only one way. Okay, all right. So number 21 is the big theater where we will end with the tour. Now, speaking about Ephesus, let us start with a little map right here, which is across. Okay, so now the earliest settlement of Ephesus, where it was located, we have here an ancient map. By the way, this map belongs to Eberhard Sanger as well. Okay, now here we can see the bay of Ephesus. Okay, remember I said in the vehicle this morning, the bay played a very important role as first. Then came the Artemis Temple. Okay, so here we see, okay, the big bay. So we are right here. Okay, we're right here. So today, this whole area is silted. So what you've seen here, remember I said in the horizon you can see the eucalyptus trees, okay, but no koala bears. Okay, the eucalyptus trees right here. Okay, so this is where the beach is today. So today, all this area is with sandy ground, or let's say land, being silted by the Hystrus River. Okay, so sedimentation. Okay, happened through here. Now, additional to that, remember I said there are 4 Ephesus. Where do we see the 4 Ephesus? First of all, look, this is where that fort is. First, look, it says Ephesus Archaic or Classical period. So first Ephesus, then what you see here in red, the Artemis Temple would be the second Ephesus. Then through a goat path, okay, here, leading this red road to here, this would be the second Ephesus. Third Ephesus, Roman Ephesus. After destruction of here, earthquake, natural causes, a handful, maybe 100, maybe 150 people, I don't know, okay? I didn't live in those days, okay? but there are a handful of people going back to here again, where they built the St. John's Basilica. Well, that's where the St. John Basilica is today, which we'll visit after lunch. Okay, so this is, like I said, Ephesus. Now let us go to this map. Sorry. Whereas there was a settlement here in the time period of the Hittites, okay, already. That's why this area is called Ephesus. The original way of Ephesus is called Ephesus, in the Luvi language spoken by the Hittites. Okay, so here's the earliest one like to come to settle down, and then we don't know, but for the longest time, the Lydians, I'm trying to make it short now. The Lydians occupied Ephesus for the longest time, and King Croesus. I don't know if you ever heard the sentence such as "rich as Croesus." Okay, maybe. Thank you. Some of you have heard. To finance the Artemis Temple being built, so it was being conquered by the Lydians for the longest time. It was the upgoing graphic until, ladies and gentlemen, the Lydians are being defeated by the Persians in the 490s, that was 5th century. For the longest time, 3-4 generations, until 21st of June, 356 at midnight, 12 o'clock, once Alexander the Great was born in Pella. Okay? So with a campaign of 30 years of age, 40,000 men crossing the Straits of Hellespont, which is today Çanakkale by Troy, the first defeat against Darius. He follows Darius all the way to Gaugamela. Persians are off the map. All these city-states along the coast of Turkey today, okay, are being freed from the Persians. So after the death of Alexander the Great, now we're coming to this Ephesus. The map has been divided among its 4 diadoques. The diadoques are the generals on the side of Alexander the Great. One of them was, let's say, Ptolemy. The other one was Lysimachus. So Lysimachus, who was a Macedonian, okay, takes over this entire area, and he carries the town from across from here to where we are now. Okay, by this is very clever, by blocking this sewage system, where people are forced to leave the town and come to a much wider place rather than that little hill, which you will see in the afternoon. So Lysimachus is the starter of this Ephesus, which is basically Roman, not Greek, Roman town, following, you name it, all kind of Roman emperors having to come and go. So we will start with our walking tour. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, our tour starts with a very typical Roman bath. By the way, I forgot to mention, outside of this gate where we just came in, a little, let's say 50 meters, a little more on the right-hand side of the road, going down, okay, where the bus just passed, there was a gate called the Magnesia Gate, with 2 towers on each side, an entry into the Agora. The reason I'm telling you the Magnesia Gate, because Paul, once he came here, 54 to 57, as he lived here in Ephesus, he came from that direction. He came through the Magnesia Gate, exactly the same route that you're walking now. Okay, so downhill, okay, is also the same route as Paul once actually walked. Now, ladies and gentlemen, behind me you're seeing a Roman bath. Now, some establishments in the Roman time period were more important than others for socializing, gathering together. So this is where the Romans actually have been washed and cleaned, okay? Naturally with slaves, with on different sections such as Tepidarium, Frigidarium, Palestra, Alepterion, so you name it, they've been cleaned and washed. Whereas, of course, later period, when it came to Christianity being more effective here in Ephesus, it has been changed into a basilica, okay? One of the, like I said, early Christian churches here would be what you see here as a Roman bath, which actually, you can see it starts right away, it's huge, okay? In fact, some of the excavations must be carried on all the way to the bushes, so it goes all the way back to the hill, so fairly big Roman bath, okay? Which was one of the most important, I may say, establishments in Roman time period. I don't know if you've heard or seen, it could be coincidentally, the Bath of Caracalla. Okay, it's an awesome building. Okay, So write it somewhere, take a note, and if you're traveling around European countries, especially in Italy, make sure you visit. If you're really interested to see a Roman bath, the Bath of Caracalla. Okay, good. So, by the way, do you have any idea what these guys were washed with or cleaned? Cleaned would be a better word.
Olive oil.
No soap.
Olive oil.
Olive oil. They may have used olive oil, but not quite. I said cleaning, washing.
Oh.
I mean, they've used olive oil. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But put it this way, ladies and gentlemen, at the Caldarium section, once they would sweat, they used sand to rub the skin. They would sweat, and the slaves, handfuls of very soft sand, the sand that we walk on the beach barefoot, okay, which is like a massage for your feet, okay. So they would rub it, okay, and then with the iron comb, awkward like an S, the letter of S, okay, they would scrape the sand as well as the sweat, okay. So nothing has changed from past to present. We call it exfoliation, okay, or spa. The only difference is today you pay money for it. Okay, good. Let's continue.
Strigula. I love we brought some water. Goodness me.
Okay. See here as a very important issue, even though it may seem very simple to the eye. I mean, a few pipes, so what? Big deal. But these pipes have played a very important role in humans' life, such as A, sewage system, B, water system, C, heating. Okay, so where they transfer heating, if this is like the wall of the house, okay, like this, and this is the other the wall of the house, so you have concrete right here, okay. So they put this the pipes, okay, straight up, so into the concrete, okay. So as you can see, look, one is male, the other one is female, okay. So therefore, that was a perfect way. Thank you. Perfect way of heating. Okay, so let's continue.
So having learned about Roman plumbing and heating services, we carried on this walkway through the upper part of town, obviously a very prosperous part of town, as you can see from all the columns that were around, and we're moving towards this theatre. This is not a theatre for dramatics or games, although it is, you might say, for performances. This was the forum where something like 1,200 Ephesian politicians would come and debate, shall we say, all the laws for the city.
We are, or not you, we are walking on the Stoa, S-T-O-A. Stoa is a sacred road which was covered with wooden roof, decorated with bullhead capitals right over here, okay? This road was leading into the Bulle, or Luterion, as it's written right over there. In English, the second paragraph, Luterion. What is the Luterion? Luterion has nothing to do with the theater, okay? Bulle, in Old Greek, translated to English today, means the chosen ones, the elected ones, which means it is the town hall or the parliament. Now, going back 2,500 years, my God, whatever, 2,000 years, okay, using your imagination, this is where all these Romans wear their toga and screamed at each other, God knows whatever, talking about politics, okay? And the reason they had bullhead capitals is, if you notice, if you go back into, let's say, Egyptian history, you'll notice one thing. Bull was always a sacred animal due to its strength, okay, representing politics. That's why it decorated, but only here on this road, nowhere else, only on here. Okay, they had bullhead capitals. Okay, so 1,200 Romans, okay, politicians have met here to make decisions upon Ephesus.
We were then given a few minutes to go up into the forum and have a closer look at it. We were warned several times to take care of our foot in different parts of the site, but as you can see here, the steps are quite worn and uneven, so you certainly need to watch your step at every stage. It's amazing just how much of it is still intact, even to no great height. But there it is, and I find it slightly difficult to imagine the forum members standing and debating and no doubt ranting and raving. I'm not sure I would want to sit on the cold stone. I presume that back in the day your slave would have brought cushions for your precious bottom. And then we moved on to a viewing platform slightly higher than the road, which you can see down in the sort of right leading to the centre, and that gave us our first view of the library. And there it is, zoomed in a bit further. I can only liken it to the treasury at Petra, which both seem to burst out at you out of nowhere.
She is the one who has, is the one and only goddess of this soil that also this country is named after, Anadolu. Okay, goddess of Artemis. Good. Let's continue. Please watch this.
The guide led us down this sloping section of road down into another part of the town where the library is, and warned us again about the state of the path. You've got 2,000 years of use on the marble, which has polished it, and it's dusty as well, so it can be quite treacherous. And one or two people did get caught out. Most just slipped a little bit and managed to recover. One or two others went down with a bit of a thump, but luckily no harm was done.
The goddess of Hermes. Wherever you go, what museum you are, what country you visit on behalf of archaeology, let's say a goddess that has wings on the Achilles tendons is Hermes, the goddess of message. What does a god of message has to do here on this pillar? Because God of message here, Hermes, is related to Paul, which is written in the Bible. Okay? It says Hermes, the god that brings you message once Paul comes through here during his second and third missionary journey, spreading Christianity. So they equalize Paul with Hermes, who brings the news. Okay? Good. Let's continue.
This will give you another idea of how awkward this path was. We've got steps, a very uneven surface, and quite a lot of dust, so it really was slippery. As we made our way down, if you looked up, you could see we were getting closer and closer to the library. You can see just how many people there are on the site, and it's relatively early in the morning. And some of the statuary, well, yes, it's been put back together, but it's so well done. You get such a great idea of what it must have been like. You half expect people in togas to appear around the corner.
One and only one Roman emperor of Spanish origin, okay? So therefore, the success in the multiple battles that they had in the province of Asia, okay, has led him to the top of the line, being a Roman emperor. But yet, like I said before, he was a Spanish origin, okay, general or high-ranked soldiers, okay? Now, through the several victories, okay, they have dedicated this Nymphaeum on behalf of Trojan. And this part right here, the marble here, is a part of it. Now, remember I said temple guardian, and we say Neoporos in Old Greek. The letter here is missing. Look, N is missing here. Neoporos here. And then here, look here, it says Ephesus, right here. Okay, Neoporos of Ephesus, which means temple guardian. In other words, of today's English, the emperor was seen as a god. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, Neoporos, that's what it is. Okay, so then it continues here somewhere. Look, there you go. Traiano, okay, Kaiseria, from the word of Kaiser, German Kaiser. Because the Germans have copied it from the Romans. Okay, even that sign when Hitler goes, you know, Heil Hitler, that is taken from Ave Roma. Ave Roma, that's what it is. He copied it from there. Okay, so that's why. Okay, it is related to the Roman history. Good, let's continue.
As I said earlier, some of these structures have been rebuilt from their component parts as best they can, but they're not overdone. It's not like Knossos, everything's painted up and looks quite artificial in places. This is as is. And another item, as is, are these Roman toilets. No such thing as modesty for them. The little channel you see in front is where they washed the bottom wiping sponges or leaves on sticks, and underneath the seats is another channel with running water that would have carried all the waste away to some disposal point. And so we came down close to the library and we could see it in all its faded glory for the first time. You can really see how it would have dominated the square. I would have loved to have seen it in its heyday. And here our guide is telling us all about the library, the third biggest in the world if I remember correctly, and that there was an enormous commercial area through those arches and centre of the area really. So just behind that there were 3 private houses, and here are the details of those, quite how you work out what any of them were for, never mind why one was thought to be a brothel and now isn't. I don't know. I'm an engineer, not an archaeologist or historian, so looking at the jumbles of stones you can see a pattern of probably buildings, but that's about as far as I can go myself. And here we are walking along this very long flat road, thank goodness for a change. And again, it would have been quite formal with the columns and presumably a roof over the top, although he didn't say so. This is that commercial area I mentioned, and there's the library over in the centre now. Excuse my finger over the lens, it was difficult to see in the bright sunshine onto the screen, and I got it wrong. He'd been telling us not to look back until he told us, and we rounded a corner and went down about 100 yards, as you can see, then turned round, and there we saw the glory that was the actual theatre. And that was the end of the visit. We found some toilets, which we were very grateful for, got back on the bus, and as we drove away, there was a piece of the wall still standing in a field to quite a good height with an arch in it.